There's a story I've been avoiding telling. Not because I think you won't believe me, but because part of me still hopes it didn't happen. Sometimes I wake up thinking it was just a dream, the rain, the knocking the pale face in the window. And then I remember Allison, how she looked when she begged me not to open the door, how she screamed my name one last time before the storm swallowed her whole. They say grief makes you see things that aren't there. Maybe that's true. But what if grief is just how they find you? What if it's how the door opens? I'm not sure what's real anymore, but I remember the sound of her voice on the phone that night. She said, "If you don't listen to me, you'll die tonight." I used to think nightmares were things that waited for you to fall asleep. But some of them don't. Some of them stand outside your house in the rain. It's been a month since Allison disappeared. The police think I had something to do with it. They don't say it outright, but I can see it in their eyes, the way they look at me, like they're just waiting for me to slip. And maybe they're right, because if I hadn't ignored her calls that night, she might still be alive. It was raining hard that evening. The kind of rain that makes the world look blurry and too close at the same time. I remember sitting on the couch with the lights off, the sound of water against the windows, almost comforting. Then I saw it. At first, I thought it was just the reflection of something from inside, but it wasn't. It was outside, pressed right up against the glass. A pale hand, small, the fingers long and wrong, flattened against the pane. Water was running down the skin, but it wasn't clear. It had this milky sheen to it, almost like something cloudy was leaking from underneath. And then I saw its face. It looked like a little girl. At least, that's what I told myself at first. But the longer I looked, the more I realized how off everything was: the too wide grin, the grey peg-like teeth, and eyes that weren't eyes at all. They were black and full, and when I looked hard enough, I could see movement inside them. Worms wriggling behind the glass of her stare. That's when my phone rang. The screen lit up, and I saw her name, Allison. My stomach dropped. Allison and I had been together for almost 3 years. We weren't perfect, but for a while, I really thought she was the one. Then the cracks started to show: the jealousy, the fights over nothing, the way she always thought I was lying about something. 2 weeks before that night, I told her I couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't some dramatic breakup. We sat in her car outside a park and just talked until there was nothing left to say. She cried. I said I was sorry, and she nodded like she understood. The next day she called, then the day after that, then the day after that. It never stopped. At first I answered, thinking maybe she just needed closure, but the conversations never changed. They looped like she couldn't hear anything I was saying. When I didn't pick up, she left voicemails, some angry, some sad, all of them desperate. By the end of the week, she was accusing me of cheating, of lying, of ruining her. So I stopped responding. I thought that was the kindest thing to do. I thought if I just stayed quiet long enough, she'd move on. But that night, when her name lit up my screen for the 4th time in a row, something in me said answer. I still wish I hadn't. "Travis," she said, and her voice was shaking. "Are you there?" "Yeah," I said, already sighing. "I'm here. What's wrong?" She didn't answer right away. I could hear rain in the background, and her breathing fast and uneven. "I did something stupid," she said finally. "I didn't mean to. I didn't think it would work. But it did." and I tried to take it back. But Allison, I said, slow down. What are you talking about? Her voice cracked. Just listen to me, please. Don't open the door for anyone. Keep it locked. Promise me. But why? Because if you don't, you might die tonight. And then the line went dead. At first, I just sat there staring at my phone. She'd said weird things before, threats, apologies, even crying about seeing my face in her dreams. But this sounded different. This sounded real. That's when I heard it. A dull, wet thump against the back door. I froze. Another thump, heavier this time. The knob rattled slow at first, then harder. Allison, I said, stepping closer. Is that you? No answer. My heart was pounding. I checked the locks, deadbolt in place, chain latched, but the handle still twisted from the outside. I leaned forward and looked through the glass of the back door. At first, all I saw was rain, then a shape, small, hunched, pressing against the wood. It lifted its head, and I saw the same pale face from before smiling up at me. The lips moved, forming words. I couldn't hear the mouth opening too wide. Then a scream from the front of the house. Allison? I ran through the hallway, tripping over the rug as something pounded on the front door. Travis, let me in, she shouted, voice raw and breaking. It's here? It's here. I checked the peephole. It was her. Soaked, terrified hair plastered to her face. I yanked open the door, and she slammed it behind her, locking it fast. One of them followed me. She gasped. God, Travis, have you seen the other one? The other one, I said, backing up. What are you talking about? Her eyes went wide. Oh, God, she whispered. It's already here too, isn't it? She dragged me toward my office, pulling at my arm. We need to block the windows, she said. Somewhere they can't get in. Allison. I said, what the hell is going on? Her hands were shaking. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. She looked at me like a child about to confess something terrible. I didn't take the breakup well, she said quietly. I know you know that. I started reading online forums, revenge threads, people sharing rituals that were supposed to make you feel better. I thought they were jokes, just angry people talking. She swallowed. Then one night, I got an email. No name, no address. Just a subject line. The Night Hunt. I thought it was spam. But the message, it sounded old. Like it had been copied from somewhere else. It talked about balance, about retribution, about how to call the hunters. She was crying now, trembling so hard, the words came out in fragments. It said to find a box, something small, and put two things inside one from yourself, one from the person who wronged you. Tie it with red string. Write a phrase in French on a slip of paper, and then bury it where the betrayal happened. The next night, they'd come for balance. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. The way she said it, she believed it. What phrase? I asked. I don't know, she said. Something like un ou l'autre. I didn't even translate it. I didn't think it would do anything. I swallowed. And what does it mean? She looked down. It means one or the other. Allison said she went back that evening to dig the box up. She was scared, she said. Guilty. But by the time she reached the park, it was almost dark and the rain was starting to fall. That's when I saw them, she whispered. A boy and a girl, small, dressed in black. Their skin was so pale I could see the veins in their faces. They were digging up the box. I hid behind a tree and watched. Her voice dropped. They opened it. The boy took my necklace. The girl took your hat. The next second she was just gone, like she melted into the rain. The boy looked right at me. I didn't wait. I ran to my car and drove straight here. A creaking noise broke the silence. Both of us turned toward the floor vent. Something was moving down there, soft and wet, dragging against metal. "Allison," I whispered. "How do they get in?" "I don't know," she said, voice cracking. "But if they're together, it's too late." The vent cover shifted. Small pale fingers curled through the slits. I stomped on it hard. The metal clanged, the fingers vanished. But another vent popped open on the far side of the room. Allison screamed. She ran for the door, pushing the bookshelf aside. "What are you doing?" I shouted. She looked back at me, tears and rain on her face. "It's one or the other," she said. "And it's not going to be you." Before I could stop her, she tore open the door and disappeared into the storm. I followed, yelling her name, but she was already out in the rain. I saw her standing at the edge of the yard, shouting into the dark. "Take me," she screamed. "It's my fault. Take me instead." And then she was gone. Like a part of the night had swallowed her whole. They never found her. The police found her car parked on the street, outside my house, the engine cold, her purse still inside. They asked me what happened, and I told them she ran out into the rain. They didn't believe me. They don't believe that something pale and small had been scratching at my vents. They don't believe that I can still smell the storm every night, even when the sky is clear. And they definitely don't believe what I see on the window. There's a mark there, faint and white, where a hand once pressed against the glass. The rain left it. Or she did. I don't know. It's changed over the past few weeks. At first it looked like dried salt, then like mold. Now it's growing upward thin tendrils stretching higher every day. It looks like something taking root. Sometimes when I stand close enough, I think I can see a face forming in it, pale, childlike smiling. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's what happens when you dig too deep into the dark parts of yourself and give them a name. Either way, something always comes to collect. They never found Allison. No footprints, no body, just the rain. The cops think I'm lying, that I hurt her. But sometimes, late at night, I see a small shadow standing in the yard, watching. And when the lightning hits, I swear it has her eyes. The stain on the window hasn't gone away. It's taller now, like a tree made of bone-white veins, growing from the place where her hand touched the glass. Sometimes it looks like it's reaching inward. Maybe this is what she meant. One or the other. One taken. One left behind. I don't dream anymore. Because when I close my eyes, I hear her whisper it again, just outside the glass. "It's not going to be you."